Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. You ever get that kind of creepy feeling? You wake up, maybe a little itch, and then bam, it hits you bed bugs.
Ugh, yeah, nobody wants to think about those little bloodsuckers.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
So today we're going to arm you with all the need to know info, whether you're dealing with an infestation right now or just want to be prepared, just in case.
And I'm here to help you decode the costs of kicking those creepy crawlies to the curb. Because, let's be real, that's usually the first question. How much is this going to set me back?
Exactly. So we've been digging into this super informative piece from Simple Pest Management. They're based in California. They break down all the costs involved with bedbug extermination.
Hmm.
It's like budgeting for those unwelcome guests, not that you ever want to. Nobody wants to dwell on these creepy crawlies more than they have to. So our goal today is to make sure you're totally in the know when it comes to bedbug treatment costs. So you can make the best decisions, if those little vampires ever come knocking. And let's be real, it can happen to anyone. Doesn't matter if you're a homeowner, a renter, even a seasoned traveler. Nobody's immune to these little guys.
Absolutely. And knowing what to expect, cost-wise, can make a world of difference in how smoothly you deal with things, if and when bedbugs strike.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, so let's unpack this. Simple Pest Management, they lay out 4 key things that really determine how much you'll shell out for bedbug extermination. How often those exterminators need to come back, what kind of treatment they use, just how bad the infestation is, and believe me, it can get pretty intense, and then where these little vampires have decided to set up shop in your house. First things first, frequency of service. Makes sense, right? More visits equal bigger bills. Our source tells us, here in California, one treatment, just once, usually runs somewhere between $300 and $800. Might sound a little steep.
It can be. But here's the thing. Regular visits, for a problem that keeps coming back, those can actually save you money in the long run. Think of it like a subscription. Those individual payments might be less, but they add up. Like a monthly service, usually about $100 to $300 each time.
So kind of like comparing a big one-time cleaning spree to having a regular cleaning service. Which one's better depends on what you're dealing with, I guess.
Exactly. One visit might be enough if you catch it early, but for bed bugs that just won't quit, you got to hit them hard multiple times. Make sure they're really gone, like putting out a fire. You got to make sure those embers are gone, or they'll just flare up again.
Makes total sense. So you've got these unwanted guests. What's next? Let's talk about how to show them the door, because every method has a different price tag. Insecticides, steam treatments, even freezing those suckers out. First up, the old reliables, insecticides, like the go-to weapon in the bedbug battle, but even then, there are choices. Costs for this can be anywhere from $200 to $400 a room. Then there's steam cleaning. I don't know why, but blasting bugs with superheated steam, it's kind of satisfying. And it's chemical-free, which is a big deal for a lot of people.
Huge plus. It's definitely effective. But steam treatment, it does tend to be a bit more expensive. You're looking at around $250 to $1,000 per room on average.
Wow. Okay, that's quite a difference.
It is. It usually depends on how big the room is and, of course, how bad the infestation's gotten.
Okay, so let's say you want to go full Arctic blast. We're talking cryonite treatment, flash freezing those bugs. That's got to be effective, right?
It can be, but just so you know, cryonite treatment usually works best alongside other methods. Think of it as a powerful tool, not necessarily the whole shebang. And yeah, it could be one of the pricier options, $500 to $1,000, give or take.
Okay, so we've got insecticides, steam, freezing. What am I missing? Oh, right, the heavy artillery. Heat treatment. Exactly what it sounds like, cranking up the heat to a level those bed bugs just can't handle.
Like giving your house a fever to sweat out those bugs.
Exactly. And speaking of sweating these heat treatments, they can really take a bite out of your wallet.
True. Prices for heat treatment, they start around $500 for a single room, but they can go all the way up to get this $5,500 or more, especially for larger houses and those really bad infestations.
Okay, we're sensing a theme here. That ick factor, it definitely comes with a price tag. So let's dive into cost factor number 3, how bad the infestation is. Are we talking a few stragglers or a full-on bedbug army? If you're lucky enough to catch it early on just a couple of unwelcome guests, the cost is usually manageable, somewhere between $300 and $800. But here's where things get kind of scary. Imagine those critters have been multiplying, and multiplying, like bedbugs do, and you had no idea. In those nightmare scenarios, the ones where you just want to burn the furniture, a severe infestation could set you back, are you ready for this? $2,500 to $5,000, or even more.
Oof, yeah. That's why catching it early is so important. See, these little bugs, they reproduce like crazy. What starts as a minor annoyance can turn into a full-blown infestation in the blink of an eye. Professionals, they know what to look for. Obviously, they're the bites, but they're also trained to spot things like bed bug droppings. They look like tiny black dots, usually near where they're hiding in eggs. Those are about the size of a pinhead, pearly white. And the worse the infestation is, the more intensive the treatment's going to be. And that, my friend, means a bigger bill.
Okay, so message received. Don't wait until your bedroom looks like a scene from like a horror movie, but with tiny crawly monsters. The minute you think something's off, call an exterminator. Ready for cost factor number 4. Okay, so it's all about location, location, location. I guess even bed bugs have a taste for real estate.
Right. And knowing where those bugs have decided to move in, it makes a difference in cost, too.
So we're talking, is it just one room that needs the bed bug eviction notice, or have they gone full-on takeover of the house?
Exactly. One room that's like a targeted strike. You can really focus your efforts and hopefully contain those little guys. But treating the whole house, that's a whole different battle plan.
And different costs, too, I bet.
Oh, absolutely. Simple pest management, they say treating one room, usually looking at around $200 to $800, depends on the treatment type and how bad it's gotten, like we were talking about before. But if they've spread through the whole house, get ready. Treating a whole house, that can be anywhere from $1,200 to, are you sitting down? $5,000 or even more.
Okay, I'm officially itchy now. So before everyone starts panicking, how about some good news for a change?
Right. Well, here's the good news. Stopping these guys from moving in the first place, way less stressful than kicking them out after they've gotten comfy. Plus, it's a lot easier on the wallet.
Okay, that is good news. So let's talk prevention. Our friends at Simple Pest Management, they had some super helpful tips in their article, and honestly, they're not that hard to do.
I know, right? A little effort can make all the difference when it comes to keeping those bed bugs away.
Number 1, and this is big, declutter. We were just talking about how much those bugs love to hide. Well, clutter. That's like a 5-star hotel for bed bugs, those piles of magazines, prime bed bug real estate. So yeah, it's time to channel your inner Marie Kondo and say goodbye to anything you don't absolutely love.
It's so true. The less clutter, the fewer places for those bugs to hide, and the easier it is to spot them early on if they do try to sneak in.
Okay, number 2. This one should be obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people forget. Vacuum frequently. And not just a quick once-over. I'm talking get up close and personal with those baseboards, mattress seams, any little nook and cranny those bugs might be hiding in.
Think of it like a preemptive strike. Regular vacuuming, it sucks up those bed bugs and their eggs.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot harder for them to set up shop.
All right, last but not least, we got to talk about food. Because, yep, even bed bugs gotta eat.
They do. But unlike mosquitoes, they're not after us. They're all about the crumbs.
So that means keeping your kitchen spotless. Store your food in airtight containers, wipe down those counters, and for the love of all that is good, do not leave those dirty dishes lying around.
Exactly. A clean kitchen, it's not nearly as tempting for these guys. But let's be real. Even the neatest person can end up with bed bugs. They are experts at hitching a ride.
Yeah.
We're talking luggage, used furniture. They can even sneak in through the walls from next door.
Ugh, I hate when they do that. So what if, despite your best efforts, you find yourself facing a bedbug situation? What then?
First things first, don't panic. It happens.
Easier said than done, right?
Totally. But the key is to act fast. And usually, that starts with asking the right questions.
Well, lucky for all of you listening, we just happen to have an expert right here. So let's get into some FAQs, those burning bedbug questions we all want answers to. First up, and this is the big one, can you treat bedbugs yourself? You know, DIY it and save some cash.
It's a great question and a common one. DIY pest control, it's tempting, for sure. And there are some things you can try yourself that might help a little bit, especially if you catch it super early on. But I got to be honest, most of the time, calling in the professionals, it's really your best bet for getting rid of those bugs completely.
And there's zero shame in calling for backup.
None at all. Look, bed bugs are tough. They reproduce fast, and they are masters at hiding. It's nearly impossible to catch every single one yourself. Pros, though, they've got the experience, they've got the tools, and they've got those extra strength insecticides that you can't just buy at the store. Plus, they can spot those underlying issues that might be making your home extra inviting to bedbugs.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe there's a tiny crack in the wall they're using as a secret entrance.
So it's kind of like comparing a Band-Aid to going to the doctor DIY might help a little, but professional treatment gets to the root of the problem.
Perfect analogy. Now, another question we hear all the time. Does insurance cover this? Like, will they foot the bill for getting rid of these little vampires? And that one's a little more complicated. Usually, homeowners or renters insurance, they don't cover bed bugs. They see it as something that can be prevented.
Makes sense, but still a bummer when you're looking at those extermination costs.
Totally get it. Basically, their thinking is that with the right precautions, like the things we talked about earlier, you can really reduce your risk. But hey, it never hurts to double-check your policy. Talk to your insurance company, just in case. You never know. There might be a specific situation where it's covered, or you might have extra coverage you didn't even know about.
Always worth a shot. Okay, last question before we move on. Say you do end up needing a treatment. Is that it? One and done? Or are bed bugs like those house guests that just won't leave?
Yeah, sadly, they can be a little like that. While some treatments pack a serious punch, bedbugs, they're known for their resilience, especially the eggs. Those tiny eggs are like little survival pods. It's really hard to get rid of all of them with just one treatment. That's why often you need follow-up treatments, like a 1-2 punch to make sure they're really, truly gone.
So when it comes to bed bugs, better safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
It's so true. We talk about the cost, but that stress of having bed bugs, it's real.
It really is.
Yeah,
No one needs that extra stress in their life.
Exactly. Well, I think we've all learned way more about bed bugs than we ever wanted to know. Time to wrap up this deep dive before we all start itching for real. Huge thank you to our bed bug expert for all the great info. You've definitely given us a lot to think about and some serious strategies for tackling those tiny terrors.
Happy to help. It's
Yeah.
all about feeling more prepared.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And for everyone listening, remember, knowledge is power. You've got this. Now you know how to prevent bed bugs, how to spot them, and if you have to, how to kick them to the curb. So next time you're traveling, checking out a new apartment, or just feel a little itch you can't explain, you know what to do. Till next time, stay curious, stay informed, and check those mattresses. See ya.